Hey everyone, welcome to our Team Aspire weekly Zoom meeting. Today is March 14th, 2016. Thanks for joining us either live or on the recording. So this is halfway through March. It's a really exciting day. We had a lot of things announced on the Team Beachbody Success Club cruise. So a lot of our teammates are on the cruise. Actually, I might have been able to go because I had a spot, but I had to give it up because you can't take a baby that's less than 6 months. So I was like, dang it. But anyhow, they announced a bunch of really cool stuff. So they have Country Heat coming out. That's going to be like a line dance, country dancing, Western dancing by Autumn Calabrese. So I'm really excited about that. We also have a orange flavored recover drink. So right now the performance line just has chocolate. So they're coming out with it in orange, which is super awesome. So there'll be another option there. And then they're also announcing kind of like a reality TV show. So this is going to be really interesting. So every week there's going to be a new episode on Beachbody On Demand, but they're starting out with 20 would-be fitness trainers. So we're going to help pick the next big fitness trainer, and it's going to, eliminate people every week. So it's going to be kind of like a reality TV show. So that's kind of cool. We'll have to see how that turns out to pick the next celebrity trainer. So those are the big announcements for today. We have our mentorship group going on right now, and I have to apologize. I've been really having a hard time posting in that group. So I've been trying to tag everyone each day, and there's only like 12 people in there, so I don't know why it's yelling at me, but whenever I try to tag you guys, first of all, it said you got to slow down, or you're not using this feature the way it's supposed to, and I'm like, there's only 12 of you. But I've had it tell me that when I was trying to tag like 100 people in a group before, but then it blocked me, so I couldn't post for like 48 hours. So anyway, that's why I haven't been putting new posts. So I was noticing today that I can post in there again. So I think what I'm going to do is just put all the posts in for the entire month, and then pin to the top the links to all the posts. So you guys can go day 1, day 2, day 3, and go through it at your own pace. That way I don't have to stress that I can't post on the days when I get blocked, and then you guys can go at your own pace. So that way if you're behind, it's not a big deal. If you're going forward, it's not a big deal. And I think instead of starting a new one at the beginning of the month, we might just keep this one open for another month just so that we can keep adding people. That way you don't have to worry that, oh, the mentorship doesn't start till the beginning of the month. If you sign a coach up tomorrow, they can start tomorrow. So it's no big deal. So I think we're just going to do that. So I do apologize. It hasn't been working out the way it's been going. We also just had our biggest slim down contest in, so it was really successful. We had 153 contestants and 43 were winners. So that's like a third. That's really good. So they all lost 6% or more body weight, which is awesome. We gave away a lot of money in prizes. We have our next contest starting on the 18th of April. That's when we scheduled it to start next. So go ahead and start telling people who are asking. That it's the 18th of April. Now that might change because I've been working with someone to develop our website. So we did have a website before that kind of went down. The person that was taking care of that didn't want to do it anymore. So I had to get somebody new, and we're totally revamping it, but we're trying to make it really cool. So I'm really excited to show you guys. We've been working on it really hard. And that's going to be coming out soon, but we want to use it for the next contest. So if we need an extra week or two, we might have to push it back, but we're really trying for the 18th. So that is our go-to date, hopefully. Then let's see, Success Club. So we still have 2 more weeks in the month. Congratulations to Stacy, who has 2 points. She just signed a new coach today. So welcome to our team. And I just totally spaced her name. I was going to write it down. Stacy. Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer. Welcome, Jennifer. Yeah, I've been talking to her and everything. I don't know. I just totally spaced. So, sorry. Welcome to our team, our new coach. And then my husband has 2 points as well. So we still have plenty of time, 17 days to hit Success Club. So keep going. Don't slow down and think that you don't have enough time, because it's not over until it's over. And then Coach of the Week, I'm going to let Rachel announce the Coach of the Week this week. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, our coach of the week this week is somebody who's been on our team for a couple months. She hasn't had quite as much success with the Success Club points as she would like. However, she is doing an amazing job. She opened up her first free challenge group by herself last week, so she's on day number 6 today. She got about 35, 40 people in there, and it's going really well. She was not a winner in our biggest slim down contest. However, her before and after pictures are amazing. And I'm surprised that she wasn't a winner because she had better results than some of the winners, just from her pictures. She's been doing great talking to a lot of people. She's been planting a lot of seeds. I'm impressed with how she's not giving up, even though sometimes it can get discouraging when you don't have all those Success Club points that you're hoping for. But she has 2 or 3 people that she had 2 people that she coached through the Biggest Slim Down, and she really focused on coaching them and supporting them like 110%, which is awesome. So anyway, our coach of the week this week is Vanessa Bustamante, and I'm super excited for her because she very much deserves it.
Yay!
So congratulations, Vanessa.
Yay! And actually, she coached the second place winner out of all those people.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So Anita, I think you say her name. She placed second. So yeah, Vanessa did an amazing job coaching her. So congratulations, Vanessa. So today, I really wanted to talk about figuring out our target market, because I'm not even joking you. I've been talking to 5 of you individually this last week about this topic. So I'm like, I think we need to talk about this topic. Because a lot of you are kind of struggling with this. I know that this is super important. So if you really think about it, if you think about if you're trying to aim for, if you're trying to, post to people and you're just going, okay, I'm just going to be real general. I'm just going to talk to everybody. We'll just talk to women in general. Then you're not really going to attract anyone just because you're not really talking to anyone specific. They're like, oh, she's not meaning me. So it's kind of like throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. You're just kind of trying a bunch of stuff. And the first summit I ever went to was 4 years ago. And there was this amazing speaker, and he got up and he was talking about target markets. And so he stood there on the stage and he was talking about this company that somebody had an idea for. And he was saying that it was this company where this mom noticed that her girls like to wear these crazy socks and they never like to match. And so the way that she marketed this company is that they sold their socks in groups of 3. So you get 3 socks that look the same. And he's like, now why would you want 3 socks, right? That doesn't even make sense. It's because then your friends get 3 and you guys can switch. So you can match and mix and match. And so it's fun. And then the whole point is to kind of like do a mismatch thing. So you end up with 3 of different ones. But he was talking about how it was very, very specific marketing, because it was really just playground girls, right? Elementary school age girls who like socks. And we could go and say, look at my socks, and like hold up their pants. And he's like, you'd think that this company wouldn't really take off because it was so specific, but they did amazing. He said they did like couple $1 million worth in their first year because it was so specific. Like they knew exactly who they were talking to, and those little girls knew that that was for them. So he stood on stage and he pulled up his pants and everybody cracked up because he was wearing the socks. But it just really made an impact on me, because whenever I think now, I'm like, okay, am I talking to those little girls with the socks? Like I'm trying to figure out in my head if I'm talking to the right people. So if you're not really talking to a specific group of people, then you're not going to identify with anybody. So you really have to figure out who you want to talk to. And really the best people to target are the people most like yourself. So you really want to think about what makes you you, what makes you unique, what makes you, who you are. So, I was actually talking to Judy about this last week. And Judy, can you unmute yourself and tell us a little bit about what you figured out about your brand or your target market? You can figure out how to unmute.
Well, I'm just on this new computer, so I'm trying to figure it out. So I was very struggling back and forth, like what should I do? And like I'm a farmer's wife, but hey, I also do this. Like who do I target? Like so it just took me a lot of sitting and just thinking about who am I and what is my passion? What do I just, and you can just sit and time goes by and you don't even know it went by. And it's like, wow, this is what really brings me to who I am. And those are the people I want to really talk to and target. So my target, I guess, was that I came to was women who want to empower other women and are into like health and healing and a lot of that kind of stuff, and who enjoy the outdoors, because I love being outside and I love my animals, and so I like being out there and being in nature. So I guess that was my target was what do I love, what really gets me going, and that's kind of what it came to, I guess. And that took me a while, but you know, I got some help from you and whoever else I could talk to about it. But yeah, that was basically how I found it.
Awesome. Yeah. So you really have to figure out what you're passionate about, who you are, what other people can identify with you. Because if you are like a stay-at-home mom and you're trying to target like fitness models that are men, it's probably not going to really work because they can't identify with each other, right? So you have to really, like, as ideal as maybe that market is, it's really probably not your market. So you have to really think about who it is that you're targeting. And I was trying to figure out who the name of the speaker. His name's Seth Godin. Oh, you can't really see it because of my screen, but he's got a bald head. So he's really funny. So look it up, Seth Godin, Godin. He wrote a book called Tribes, all about this topic. That's really good. So read the book. But so yeah, really think about who you are trying to identify. So if you sit down and you make a list about what makes you you, you know, you sit down and go, okay, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm, you know, this, I'm that, I love to do this, you know, all the things that make you you, that's who you're going to be targeting. And you don't have to do every single one of them. Like, I actually really struggled with my target market at first because I really wanted to target people with autoimmune diseases. And I found that I was having a really hard time. And in the process, I was attracting moms because I have a lot of kids. And so I'm like, maybe I should switch over my target market to moms because, hey, look, I'm attracting them. I kind of had an aha moment this month when I realized that I was kind of going, why am I attracting people who struggle physically and moms? You know, I'm like, how am I attracting two different types of people? You know, like, here's these moms over here, and then here's these single ladies, or, you know, other older women, or, you know, whatever, struggling physically, like, that identify with me because I struggle physically. Like, how am I doing both? And then I really realized that really what my target is are people who struggle to overcome some kind of opposition and who have no excuses attitude, and they're going to do it anyway. Whether it's a mom with a bunch of kids, whether it's a homeschooling mom, whether it's somebody who struggles physically, you know, if you want to overcome some kind of barrier, I seem to be attracting you. So anyway, but, you know, think about what it is that you're attracting. Notice who identifies with you, who's messaging you, like, okay, what do we have in common here? And come up with a list. And that's really who you're going to be targeting. So that'll really help. So when you make a post on Facebook, you talk to those people. So I don't know if you've been following my Facebook page, but I'll write on there, okay, moms, what do you think? Like, talking directly to you, you know, and it really does help because then they go, yeah, she's talking to me. So cater your posts. Another thing a lot of big coaches say is to have an avatar, which I think avatar is kind of a funny word, so I like to say ideal customer in my head. But, you know, go as far as to have a photo in front of you of somebody who you think, this is my ideal customer. I've actually sitting down and written out my ideal customer. Her name is Jennifer. I named her Jennifer. But I know what she looks like. I know how many kids she has. I know where she lives. I know about how much money her husband makes. I know she's a stay-at-home mom. I know, you know, she's got 50 pounds to lose. She feels blah. She's about in her 30s. I know everything about this person, and that's who I'm talking to. And so when I kind of get in that moment and I'm like, I don't know how to write this post, I picture her in my head and I think, okay, I'm going to write it for her. Just that one person. You know, and that is my ideal customer. That's who I'm trying to attract. That's who I'm talking to. And it helps so much because when you're trying to find your voice, you know, you're trying to figure out how you're going to write the silly post that you're struggling with, then just think, okay, I'm going to write it for her, or I'm going to write it for him, or I'm going to write it for that person. That's your ideal customer. So I really suggest you guys sit down, come up with a list of everything that makes you you, and also sit down and come up with, you know, your ideal customer. Name her, come up with a picture, you know, all those things that really helps. I totally described me, so, which is probably why I attracted you, right? So anyway, but yeah, so that really does help. Does anyone have any experience with any of this? Have you guys done this in the past? Is this something you plan to do? Any of that?
I think it sounds like a great idea, and like I struggle definitely with trying to figure out how to word my posts. So I love how you said that you try to do it like as if you were just talking to her. So I like that. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, and it really does help too, because especially when it comes to a Facebook page where it's not, you're trying to talk to people you don't know and you're trying to find new people. If I know that my target market are moms or people who struggle with this or that, then if I see something in my news feed that's relevant, I'll go, oh my gosh, I need to, do something like that. And I really do try to copy things and save it onto my phone and then rebrand it. So I'll take a picture of something. I don't know if you've seen my morning motivational posts, but I love like quotes on my photos. And so what I'll do a lot of times is I'll see a really cool quote and I'll copy that photo onto my phone, take a photo of myself, put the same quote on there, so it's mine, it's me. It's instead of me just going copy paste onto my page, people aren't going to see that as much and they're really not going to care. But if they know that's me, they'll identify more. So, if you see stuff that you're like, oh, that's perfect. That's that they'd be interested in this. You see a video of something or, you see some tip like, oh, they'd love that. Then, save that onto your phone, share that kind of stuff. That's all stuff that they'll be interested in because you're interested in it, if that makes sense. So, Rachel, do you have any experience with coming up with your target market or?
No, but I need to be better at it. That's what I was going to say. I really like the idea.
Awesome.
And I think that most of my posts tend to go towards other moms, especially because I feel like most of my posts are about your kid should be your reason, not your excuse. And I am one of the moms who I work out with my kids in the room most of the time. I want to try and get to where I can work out before they wake up, but they wake up early. So, and anyway, so it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. It's not, it might, some days are better than others. Sometimes I have to stop 4, 5, 6 times in the middle of a 25-minute workout, just to tell them to stop arguing or to, whatever. But at the same time, then there's moments like today where my son was on the iPad doing a little coloring thing, and I posted about it today, but he came across one of the coloring pages was this big muscular guy lifting up barbells over his head. And he's like, Mommy, he's exercising like you. And so he, like, when they understand the importance of exercise at 3 and 5, and so I feel like that is my target is moms with kids, even moms with small kids. But I haven't necessarily sat down and directly like made a post talking to somebody. Actually, I'll take that back. I did that one time with one of Shannon's posts because she was pregnant, and I had like 3 of my friends who are pregnant who I've been talking to about doing coaching in Beachbody. And as soon as I posted that, I had one of those pregnant friends contact me. So, and she's actually, she goes back to the doctor a week from today for her 6-week postpartum appointment. And as soon as she gets the okay, she's going to get 21 Day Fix and sign up as a coach. So that's the one time I did it, and it actually worked. So I need to do it more often.
Yeah, that really does help. Cool. Awesome. So I wanted to show you guys, first of all, do you guys have any questions or any other comments you want to add to that whole discussion before I go on a tangent? Okay, so I've been also talking to you guys about going in groups and making new friends from groups. So this is relevant because it's all about your target market, making new friends. So I wanted to show you guys what I've been doing. I've been really focusing on this last week because I've gotten questions about it. So here's my screen. Can you guys see it okay? Yeah? Okay. So what I've been doing is if you think about, who your target is, and then you go, okay, I'm trying to find people just like me. So for me, I'm a homeschooling mom. So I looked up our local area, Rayford homeschoolers, and Noah's actually in this group too. But I went in here, and so what you want to do, and I've had this question too. How do you post in the group and promote things? You don't. Don't do it. You'll get kicked out. People will just get mad and annoyed. So don't do that. Join the groups. of relevant people people are like you, whether it's your local area or, some characteristics. So if you love fishing or, you're really into sports, or if you're a alumni for your university or whatever, think about it, a group that you can join that you have things in common with people. Then make a post. So I had posted today, about how I'm curious what other moms do with people who are middle school age, because there's a lot of co-ops around here, but they all have elementary school age. So my older kids kind of are bored and they feel left out. So anyway, and then I got all these comments. And so I haven't had a chance on this post yet. Oops. But I'm planning to friend all the people who commented. So if I comment back, I clicked on something, sorry. I comment back and then I tag them and then I send them a friend request at the same time. Now I'll go in and, delete all the outstanding friend requests, but it works really, really well. So I've only done this one this last week. So on, I think it was Thursday, I posted this. So obviously you guys know I had the stomach flu. And so this group is a military wives group in our local area. So I was like, okay, guys, has anyone else around here had the stomach flu? And then I asked, how long do you think we should keep them at home? Not really caring what their opinion was because I had already read about it, but, thought this is a good time to post. And I got a lot of comments. And it's a very, hot topic right now, stomach flu. And so I got a lot of comments, and I made 13 friends off this post because all these people commented, and I sent them friend requests. Then we became friends, so I tagged them and said, oh, whatever, and then sent friend requests. So this is a really, really, really good way of making new friends. And like I said, you can think of anything. So if you love Disney, join a Disney moms group or Disney group or something. Or if you're into baby wearing, I used to be in a baby wearing group. Anything that you can think of, cooking or sewing or anything that you like, that you can identify, that you can have conversations with people. And so once you have these people as friends, you just message them, say, thanks for accepting my friend request, and then you start having conversations. And so I've been having conversations in the background with a lot of these people. And so it really, really does work very well. So this is what I was trying to tell some people on our team, and they weren't quite getting it. So I wanted to show you guys how it works. But anyway, so this is a really good way of making new friends. And like I said, I made 13 friends off that one post. So I've been really focusing on this the last couple of days, and it's been working really, really well. So this is a really good way of making new friends. Obviously, they're not going to buy from you right that second, but you're wanting to expand your network, and they're going to start seeing what you're doing if they're your friends. So this is a really good way of doing it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Do you guys have any questions about that? How that works, or did I go too fast? Hopefully not.
What did you mean by tagging, Angie?
So when you
when you said I tag them first.
So when you're commenting back, you're replying to them, tag them just like with their name so that they'll see it, because they'll get a notification on Facebook saying, Angie mentioned you in a comment or something like that. So it's a good way, because they should get a notification anyway that you made a comment back on their reply, but sometimes they don't see it. So it's just kind of a double way of getting their attention. They'll get the notification that you replied back and a notification that you tagged them. So it's a really good way of doing it. But then I make the friend request right then at the same time that I reply back and tag them. So they'll see it, so they'll be, oh, she just talked to me. If you do it like 2 days later, then they probably won't remember who you are. So you need to make sure you do it simultaneously, if that makes sense. And then as soon as they do accept that friend request, like not like that second, but, like that day, I'll send them another message. Hey, thanks for, accepting my friend request. And then if they're local, I'll say, I just like to make friends in our local area, or something like that. So I try to not be creepy about it, but, most people are like, oh yeah, cool. And then you can continue the conversation. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. And I have, my trouble is then when I send them, I say, hey, thanks for responding to my friend request, and how are you? And I'll either compliment a picture or I'll do something like that. But then my problem is a lot of them I just get a one answer or one word reply and thanks. And it's like, okay, do they not want to talk to me? Should I leave them alone? Like, what else can I think of? Or,
Yeah. Well, I think that's where you have to use some discretion. You don't want to bug them to death. They'd be like, oh, this person's annoying, unfriend. I just kind of start a conversation. And then what I like to do is I'll put them on a list on Facebook or whatever of my new friends. And then I'll just make a point of, trying to keep that conversation open, or I'll go and make some comments on their posts, or just kind of start to have that, you know, establishment of that relationship. Because if Facebook knows that you're messaging back and forth or you're making comments on their stuff, they're going to show your stuff more. So then they'll start seeing their news feed. Otherwise, they're not probably going to see it if they've never had any contact with you. So that's kind of the point of the message. It's not necessarily to like get talking right away. It's just to kind of start it so that Facebook will be like, okay, yeah, you're friends, you know, and start showing stuff, because you don't want to annoy them to death either. Oh, good question. Anyone else have any questions? Anything to add? Any other methods of making friends that are in your target market?
I'm just thinking something.
Sure.
So I think I don't even know how many friends on my friends list. And you were talking about, you know, commenting on their pictures or their posts and things like that. And I just realized that there are so many people that I don't see anything at all on my news feed. And I'm like, I think to myself, just now I'm thinking, you know, if I go through and I go to their page and I make sure that I like something that's current, not from like a week ago, because that would be creepy. But you know, if I go and I like a post or I comment on it, and there's a chance that they're going to see what I have going on, and maybe they'll be interested, because I know that there's people that might be interested, but because I don't ever see their stuff, you know, I don't even think about them most of the time, just because Facebook is like, oh, you guys aren't that good of friends, so we're just not going to show anything. So I think that's something I'm going to try this week. I'm probably going to go and make sure that I'm trying to contact people that I don't spend a whole lot of time talking to, that I probably should anyway.
Yeah.
So, and see if, you know, see how that pans out, how that works out for me. So
yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because you have to think like, this actually happened like 5 minutes before the call. I got on Facebook to log in just to pull all this stuff up, and I had a friend that I haven't seen in like a year, and everyone's going, congratulations, she had a baby. I'm like, I didn't even know she was pregnant. And, you know, and I haven't seen anything of her on Facebook for forever, but because she had a baby, it's like big news and everyone's commenting. I'm like, she's probably been posting that she's pregnant and I just haven't seen it. And then now that she's had a baby, like, ta-da, like, I'm like, what happened? So, you know, that kind of stuff will happen if you have a big enough post, but otherwise you really don't see it. So yeah, that was like total illustration of what you were just saying. I'm like, wow. So, but yeah, so one thing that works really well is to go to the bottom of your friends list, because the people who are at the top, you have the most contact with. So you don't have to go all the way to the bottom if you have a crazy number of friends, but the more you scroll down, the least contact you have with them. So that's another thing you can do, is go to the very bottom of your friends list. Did you have something to add, Stacy?
I just thought that was super interesting, because I had never even thought about that before. So I really like that, and I'm going to try that too.
Yeah. Another thing that you can do that I do a lot, so to make friends in your target market, you can have, so if you're going through your friends posts, you know, and then there's a conversation going on about, you know, how to cook something or other, you know, salmon, for instance, and we'll just say, and they're saying, you know, how do you do this? And your friend posted that, and then they have a whole bunch of friends making comments. You can comment back on what they're commenting on, tag that friend, and then send them a friend request. So you can have a conversation in your friend's conversation, you know, and it's kind of a cool way of doing it, because you're having a conversation already. Then you can continue the conversation in private message. You know, you can keep it going, but they're really very likely to accept your friend request if you're a friend of that person. You know, so it's like, oh, this is, you know, Noah's friend. We're going to accept her friend request because she's talking to me about this, and, you know, you can keep it going. And so that's another really, really effective way, especially if you hover over it and you see that you have like 5 friends in common or something. You're like, oh yeah, we should be friends anyway, you know. So that works really well too. You know, you don't have to necessarily even be in groups. Just go through your friends list. You can even go to your friend's profile and look and see, you know, what other friends that you're not friends with, and they'll show mutual friends that you guys already have in common. And if you have 9 friends in common, send them a friend request. Just be careful not to send too many at once. You don't want to go in Facebook jail. Yep, so that works good. Does anyone have anything else to add or ask? We've got 8 more minutes till we get kicked off. Any other methods? Nope. But Rachel, do you have anything else to add about target markets, since you're the oldie in the group?
No, I think everything has been said.
Okay. Awesome. So we announced earlier and Vanessa missed it, but Rachel, did you want to say it again for her benefit?
The whole thing?
Oh, you don't have to say the whole thing.
It was kind of long. Vanessa, go back and rewatch the recording. But since you're on now, just wanted to let you know you are Coach of the Week this week. And I've been super impressed. I know you're shocked about that because you don't think you're doing a great job, but you are. You're doing an excellent job, and you're not giving up, and you're talking to lots and lots of people. And I have been loving the way that you've coached Anita through the biggest slim down contest, and the way that you took initiative to create your own free group, and how you're posting and commenting and messaging all of those ladies in that group. You're really doing an awesome job. And I know we've talked about this many times, but you're planting so many seeds right now. So keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing awesome.
Congratulations. Good job, Vanessa. Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone. Does anyone have any other non-related questions since we're already on here? Anything anybody has struggling with or successes?
Any ideas for what next week we want to talk about?
Yeah. Do you guys want any specific topics? I've kind of been trying to tailor it on what I've been getting questions about, but yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. If you ever like, I really need to know about such and such, let us know, because we can definitely come up with that.
I have one thing.
Sure.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. So I know that I've been talking to Rachel and Shannon about getting into reading scripts and stuff. And I think that's something that I'm really going to try to do. I just feel more comfortable being able to, I can't always count on Rachel to be there when I have to talk to somebody, you know, she has a life too. And I think that if I had something in front of me as I'm learning, I can definitely tweak some things, you know, as I'm listening. But Shannon just added me to a group, and I'm hoping to find these scripts that I can possibly put on my computer so I can rehearse them or have them in front of me. That way I have the information. I just want to be able to not lose a chance on, you know, hitting a customer or a coach because I didn't answer something correctly or I didn't use the correct words. And I think that maybe possibly that might have been some of the issues of why I have maybe lost some customers. I'm not 100% sure, but I just feel like I really want to get into like scripts and reading them and so forth, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, in the Team Pure Results group, under the file section, there's a lot of resources under there. I know that there's a lot of scripts that other coaches have given Shannon to use. My caution about that is just that you want to be careful not to read things, because then they can tell you're reading. The best advice I had gotten in a really long time, we had a sales guy come on a team call. And I was asking him, okay, like I was so stressed because I hate selling. Like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to say. Like, what do I need to say? What do I not need to say? And he's like, you know what? Don't focus on the words. Focus on how you say it. It doesn't really matter what you say. It matters how you say it. So if you say it with confidence, you say it with passion, you say it with emotion, you want to say it with caring, so that they know that you really do genuinely care about them, that's going to go a lot further than what you say. So yes, it is important to know what to say. It's more important probably how to structure the call, like first go over their goals, then go over, you know, whatever, like, you know, structure it. But I think as far as scripts go, you don't necessarily need them. You just need to be confident and just be passionate. Because as soon as I started doing that, all of a sudden I started selling. When I was like, I used to write words down and say this, don't say this. You know, like I had a list of yes and no's and, you know, all these things. And I used to get so stressed about that it wouldn't come across very genuine. And then I didn't do very well. But as soon as I stopped caring about the actual words and caring about how I said it, then all of a sudden everything just changed for me. So for me, that was the best advice I've ever gotten. So yes, it is important to know what to say. Yes, it is important to have, you know, scripts to look over, but I wouldn't necessarily have them in front of you. Maybe just like come up with an outline of like, this is what I want my calls to be like.
I think it would be helpful for me. It would, because I just feel like, being that I was new into Beachbody, I didn't have a lot to work with.
Mhm.
So I think my words were always getting, muttered or fluttered, and I just didn't feel confident enough, like you said, because I kind of need to practice what I preach. And, I just feel like if I do get coaches under me, I want them to be more successful within their 30 days so I don't lose them, because some people might not have the patience like I have or something like that, I know it takes time, but I just want to be able to, be more resourceful for someone when I get there.
Were you going to say something, Noah?
Yeah, I was going to say that I actually emailed and asked my mom and my sister, who they don't live anywhere near me. So, I'm kind of working through dealing with messaging them through Facebook because of time differences and stuff. But I just told them, because I know that, they're not, my mom's working on something and my sister's working on something else. So they might come around to wanting Beachbody, but I was like, hey, I want to practice talking to somebody. So just act like I don't know you. And we kind of just played it out, and they were really cool about it. And, I got to kind of figure out what I wanted to say, with, sounding professional, but at the same time friendly. And then, talking to them as if I didn't know them. So I didn't talk to them at all like I normally do. So it was just kind of interesting to see, if you put your mind, if you can just kind of, set your mind that way, it's kind of nice if you have somebody that you can practice with. I kind of felt like that helped a little bit. Mm-hmm. So when my customer, only one I have, when she emailed me asking me some questions, it made it a little bit easier because I'd already kind of gone over it with like my mom and my sister. That's so, and then that way, like, I wasn't reading from a script. It was just something that I had recently talked about with somebody else. So that might help.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Were you going to say something, Rachel?
I was, but we don't have a lot of time. So Vanessa, you and I will talk more about this because I think it's really good for you right now. And it'll get easier once you practice and once you get used to it.
Okay.
True. Okay, well, we wanted to take a quick picture. So everybody pose for a second. Ready?
Smile.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
How do you know my mom?
Let's do it one more time because I got a blur for Vanessa.
Smile, baby.
Oh, wait. Ready, set. Okay, that was better. Thanks, guys.
Again.
We'll see you next week.
One more time. How do you know my mom?
Bye.
She's so cute.